nitubatangira muno kuhuliriza iraka lya bunyoro kuruga kuno mu diaspora hano mu TGN radio. nitubatangira muno kuhuliriza iraka lya bunyoro kuruga kuno mu diaspora hano mu TGN radio.
Izebyo musomesa komba again omubanda wo mukama marumbire. Izebyo musomesa komba again a headline entertainment in this. Izebyo musomesa marumbire omubanda wo mukama marumbire. Pro by Joyous. Abanyoro nyakaitu tubelo kwa bunyoro wala la la lo mutima kwa bunyoro tubelo kwa bunyoro mutima kwa bunyoro wala la la lo mutima kwa bunyoro kukurumirwa bunyoro mutima kwa bunyoro anga kutero muranga kwa bunyoro n'abanyoro abali mu bunyoro omanyire ihanga ruganda bakwataniza bange tubekimu kobe muganda mucholi mururu murugwara kimu oli mu bunyoro wala la 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 bantu bange nyowe ntiniremu ayayayayaya abanyoro nyakaitu ntiniremu wala la 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 kime kiroto kya lero ntiniremu wala la 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 bantu bange mumpa matwinywe wala la 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 ali hativi amaiso harutimbe adebisipuro watengoma izebyo musomesa lekansomese adebisipuro konko nebidongo izebisomesa bantu bange tubeno kwa bunyoro wala la la lo mutima kwa bunyoro welo kwa bunyoro mutima kwa bunyoro wala la la lo mutima kwa bunyoro kukurumirwa bunyoro mutima kwa bunyoro omukama kabale kandumbirege uyitumbirya lero ntinirege akugamba halali tasemereirwe abanyore bya bunyoro tubinagirize wala la 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 la
Hello, welcome to all of you. Welcome. Webale muno kutuninga in Iraka lya Bunyoro diaspora. This is Iraka lya Bunyoro diaspora, the voice of Bunyoro in the diaspora, and it is sponsored by Bunyoro Kitara Development Association, and it's Caroline Ajuna Kibuka Atenyi, your host today. And just a quick reminder, Iraka lya Bunyoro nirija kuba presented in two languages, that is Runyoro and English. Runyoro is the language spoken by the people who come from Bunyoro, which is found in the western part of Uganda. Now, that little reminder, Nkwenda, I'm just going to send a few, some message to to the kingdom, and Iraka lya Bunyoro diaspora, we send our sincere condolences and sympathy to the kingdom of Bunyoro Kitara, and through the omuhikirwa wa Bunyoro Kitara kingdom okuhikia okuganyira kwaitu muno hali omukama waitu Dr. Rukirabasaija Gafabusa Solomon II kutwarwa ku mugo Frasco abahoire amoti okuganyira nitusendinga our condolences, and we are with the kingdom at this particular loss, kandi mukama omugenzi omugo amuhumuze kurungi. With that little message, I would want to introduce our topic today, Bunyoro we want, and the topic being educational action as entrepreneurial practice. Kandi nkabulikiro nkainywena kumanyiro mukuru birija niwe kuba haitu hanu kutugambira the Bunyoro we want, and he's going to be talking about this topic in a very short time. Mutyo muno abanyoro na abanyoro kati na ba friends of Bunyoro, allow me to introduce or welcome omukuru Omunyoro Atenyi abeho obugambo buke obwokugambaho ali aba viewers baitu nainyo ba listeners abaturning in tonight. Atenyi webale muno kwikiriza kuba hamnaite today. Enjura ekutalibanize mugendo rubaire rwangu baitu osoboire kuba hamnaite hano twaire kitinisa kandi tusebererwe muno kutuho obwire buno na habwekyo ninyenda kusaba obeyo obugambo buke obogambira haba viewers baitu na ba listeners baitu abatakumanyire obagambire who you are kandi otandike na topic yaitu eya kirokino otyo muno Omunyoro Atenyi bebale muno kwija.
Okay. Otyo muno Atenyi Karo engineer waitu omubyoma vice chairman waitu wa BKDA Munyoro Sam Kitone Kakembo Arali aba BKDA nywena okumpa omugisa guno okuba mu byoma bino nsobora kubaliza abanyoro baitu. Mukama waitu Kabumba na Katikiro waitu na abanyoro nywena bagonzebwa aba kusora kaine kuija kutuliza radio enu ngo kutuina omwanya mukegwa sahemu tinkwenda kutwara ubwire bwingi kubaza okumara nimbaza bintu bitali hamutwegwe go rubazo rwaitu kyonka kikuru muiruirwe muta mwebali kuija kutuliriza no kuturora. Ninyenda kuhikya kuganyira kwange hali Katikiro no kama bwaitu bona abwekikanga bwekitugwiro kwihuaho mukaikuru waitu omukuru ina waitu wakitarayona kandi na abanywani bange bona na abantu bandi bona ababunyora abaferirwe muno wike hoire tukatunge kanga bwake okuferwa mwana waitu wa Masindi mzee waitu mwene waitu Omunyoro Aneuru Faustin tukaba no busasi bwingi muno katusaba Mukama Ruhanga muhe kihumuro kirungi amakage na abana be abasigazi na abahara batunge kuguma ego nabweke aho nho njakangira tugende mu maiso kankugarura akazindaro
Obwo niwo omukuru Atenyi abagambire kiki kyali baitu Atenyi abantu ko tabagambire okike kiyokoro munsi ndabandi ndibo bati
nyobanyeta Steven Birija
ego
obuzali bwange rundi kusibuka kwange mba Bunyoro
ego
ekikoro kyaitu kikika kibabulisa ekyaro kibeta kisomere timanyira wakiba kyesere kisomere kyongampuro rugamba nibagamba isenkuru nyowe Omunyoro Kazimura Isaya no yabanze kutwara yo kusoma no yabanze no kutandika health center yo kubanza ya Bulisa ege health center akagitandikira buti abo yagifura Bulisa akaba nuke bamweta Kazimura Mulago yajanja baga abantu isenyowe Daniel Wairindi nyonka zali wa Kigorobi mbwikire ndi mzali wa Hoima ni munyahoima kionka nyakulira muno Masindi myaka yange kiro bwingi so nyonta andi Munyoro toto
toina muko
from all other places
toina mu mixed blood
gonzeri mixed blood way to cultural wise
you go around all the districts
all through yes yeah. I belong to every part of Bunyoro.
Amazing
okay. Yes
webale muno kutugambira ho nyonka mbanyiro ba Masindi
baitu kabaho chairman wa Masindi kabaho director wa isomero ba manyira abantu ba Bunyoro ego ema
kandi hanu tukumanyire nka opinion leader waitu
mwebale muno kumba ki advisor wa BKDA
ego oli advisory board yaitu ogenda kuba no to advising in different ways and we are very privileged to have chosen you or put you being part of that advisory board ya Bunyoro Kitara Development Association kandi ntunihira ojja kuba no okora ebintu bikiraho ebyo bayino tukura itwa BKDA
yes kandi mbatabarukia na iwe Caroline utware ntebe nkoto ya treasurer
mbaye takabagambire
akulinde nsawo yaitu na Munyoro Sam kakembo ninkutabarukia kufuoka chairman waitu wa amani ngunira rero bikedi ejagenda mu maiso muno kandikiraho na hali bayire
ego webale mno Omunyoro ate nyibirija to congratulating upon our specific office that we started or we are about to start working, taking a lot of Bunyoro Kitara ahead, and we are hoping we will be able to serve as we are expected to be serving. Hat without wasting time atenyi question topic yaitu kirokinu eri omutwe gukirayo obukoto, that's the headline, is the Bunyoro we want. A subtitle bakibaza bato mu Runyoro Abanyoro bajja ku correcting, I'm sure ndani imbazo Runyoro tahikire omutwe mutito
we are a heterogeneous community tuli ntabatabule nobwego Runyoro obundi okusaka rubazi no gambo baziri obalize rusindi ruhikire omunyahoima na gamba kwa
rugwiro
wakibale na gamba kwa yako nuko kandu katubuzire kandi bo bugayiga butugira obwo. We can fit anywhere.
Okay, so yes. Today is our subtopic is educational action as entrepreneurial practice.
Yes.
Hati ninyenda timanyire, I don't know where you got this topic from, but I'm glad we're going to discuss it, and I know many people will be waiting to hear what you're saying about this particular topic. What is that you meant by education and schooling?
Yes, obunkabandi hano ninga mu topic yo kubanza rundo mutwegbo kubanza gutwatandikisize
yego
nkabaza ha kuburabura kwa Bunyoro. Bunyoro nkukwekara neburabura nikyo kituhakaine kutunga omuhanda rundi kyo mjunga yeta strategy ne ekyo kuroleraho rundi kirolerism yakiyesere ki vision ogeta otamu Runyoro nayo sa mu Ruganda bageta bata Banyoro bali bagana nabo bali bayijukuru bayi. What do you call vision? Ekitangara rundi kyo ekiku etoche kutwoleka rundi yes ekutwoleka omuhanda gutugenda egyo getanka vision.
Yes.
Tukabane ikigendero kitukuhondera. So bunyabalize ekinyagamba ekikuru muno twina kutandikisa na education.
Yes.
Okusoma okega. Schooling kuba kusoma. Kwega ni education.
Okay.
Aro omundo gena mu isomero. When we talk of schools rundu tugamba isomero ne embarasi zigira isomero. Ne embwa zigira isomero. Mbagiyegesani mukamowa bwarayijaga oinamege oikarege ne embarasi barakutwaraga mukusimbira no embiro oirukege hati neba conditioned neba eyoroirwe kumanya kukora ekyo kintu kyonyini obwongo ni bubaburolere iraho. For example embwa bwera imanyire nto ruigi rukinguka ruti kiro kiye kugenda hali ruigi rukinguka ndugenda kuli eja kuikara ne rusika kuno esa kusiba okiro kiona because he has just been schooled. Baitu omuntu ayegeseibwe asomere yatunga okwega aba n'obwongo obukusobora kurora kintu kurugira mbaji zombi rundi aba flexible.
Yes.
Ayoroba taba mugumu ali rigid. Ahuliriza ebyabandi bakubaza. Tayetwara nti nyoni nyomanyire. Ekyo what we call educational intellectual virtue. Okusoma kwegesa omuntu beta omugezi. I mean education, wobe educated oba mugezi.
Yego.
Bwogena mu isomero rundo tungire degree otungire PhD otungire ki kyongo time otamanyire kuikara mu bantu.
That's a problem.
That's not being educated. That's being schooled. So hato mutuogo kangaruke straight away hamutwe. Okutugamba ekigambo education. Ekigambo education mu buhikire aya abakitandikisize bakieta education is praxis. Ekigambo praxis kimanyisa practice. Ebyokwega nobiteeka mu nkora tikiri kuikara kubiganikya bugani nk'oruganikyo
nibikula omutwe nobibata nabyo.
True education is praxis.
Yes.
Ekyo kigambo ayakiresera kaba omubirigi ubayetaga Aristotle. Baitu kandi talinwe yakitwegeseze habukuba naito bunyoro bajungu genda kwija bakatusanga twine education.
Yeah.
Twina Garihamu University. Hari batwaraga abantu mbabegesa. So education kiruga mu kigambo kyoru Latini. Hati of course tukega bintu bya Western. Hati nibyo tukozesa. Kyoru Latini kibeta edu care.
Okay. Oh, ebigambo biri hano kiro kidu.
Urundi edu sere.
Edu sere, okay.
Yes. Hati ekigambo education ekibakichwa mirundi ebiri. Enyuguta ya A emanyisa to lead out, kuihamu.
Okay.
Kuihamu ekintu. Bakuzaire olaho oina ikibekwesere potential amagezi garumuki onga byamire.
Yes.
Hati kibakora uwamba teka mu isomero litandikira omuka. Isomero tilibanti ganuga tugenda. Babamba kuegesa you are a product ibeta nature. Bakuzaire oli kintuntu. Ekyo mjungu yakwesere a biological substance.
Yego.
Oli kintu. You act by instinct. Ya ruhanga yakuhangiremu wohura kwenda kusense no geno sense automatically. Tikikwetagisa kusomesa. Enjara bwe kuruma mwana makyamuzara natandika kuchura. That's nature.
Yes.
Hati ekigarukaho omumaka kiba ekibeta nacha nukuo kuorora. Hata ekigambo educare means you take care to get out the talent. Kumwihama amagezi ku nkabuba kwaire embaizi eri infu no gitiekera.
Yeah.
So educare, educere ekigambo kyo Latin nikyo kimanyisa. Baitu hatu babamba gamba educare rundi educere babamba mbamanyisa ki bamanyisa kusoma ebitabu rundi kusoma ki no.
Yeah, because that's what we think.
Baba manyisa ekigambo education mazima kimanyisa caring about the common good.
Wow.
Ofwaho ebyabona. Abantu bandi nubo bakuzara. Abantu bandi nubo bakubatiza toyebatiza. Abantu bandi nubo bakuorora. Abantu bandi nubo bakuswerera. Okura. Abantu bokora business ukurundo okozera isomero. Abantu bandi nubo basoma mu isomero lyawe. Wabona okora obusubuzi abantu bandi nubo bakuha kurakurana.
Yego.
Tosakora radio no kabaha bwawe. It needs other people.
Exactly.
So omudoma nuwe atafuaho bantu bandi.
Yes.
Walkarora muntu akatandika gamba I'm on my own. That's an idiot. Tamanyire is there because of others. He was born by others. He will be buried by others.
Everything will be done
By others, not him. Are you seeing that?
Yes.
You cannot have a business alone. Can you?
No.
Hati, what education teaches you is to care about others. The common good. And that common good is what we call, first of all, ekigambo kibeta ethos kiri kigambo kyo Latini no Virigi ru Greek ekimanyisa character hata education ekutraininga kuba n'obuntu ofweho nti omanye you are not an island okolera abandi. Your individual character is meant to build the common good. So you learn that you cannot be an island. Your goodness in character, ethos, rundi kibeta ethics, ni education eyegesa. Osa kumanya physics yawe kurungi no gikozesa kuchwa majuga abantu koforo za abantu. You are not educated. You are schooled. Okay. Oli engineer wa district bakuhaire sente zo kuombeka obuhanda gwa abantu bakuraba noziba. You are an idiot. Idiot nuwe muntu ayefuaho wenka mubirigi. Tafuaho bandi. He doesn't care about others.
He doesn't have the common
He doesn't
good.
know he was born by others. He's there because of others. It is others who will marry for him, and he will marry another person, not himself. You see that? Yes. And he will be buried by others. So, that idiot steals money for the road. Omuhanda gwagia kuraba mnyenge. Nyina ali hakiaro, bamutumire kuombeka irwaru mukiaro ekyo, anka contractor, ezeni zona nazikoraki, naziba, nyenge nyina wakuruwara, akubarunda ala America irwari wakumuyirukiyamu niyo ibire musente. That's an idiot. Wako musomesa akuyibira abana bizamu barabeho atunge sente nyenke wakurwara omwana oyo yarabizoho yafuoka doctor atamanyire no kusemeza nuwagenda kururamba bamutwara kusemeza to kukabiraho omumanyire ogwa atasomebwa doctor kururu. So you are an idiot. So egyo niyo education emanisa. But schools are different. When you go purely for schooling, ntungire degree, ntungire diploma, nikyo nyase kagayjwez abantu barimu bakukaguza Bobi Wine degree ya werinka Museveni degree. That is stupidity, because true education is how you effectively network with others and rise out. It is not about credentials. Nikiokura nyonta kikomentingo waruba Museveni tuhe mpapura zawe, Museveni tuhe degrees. That is stupidity. Evaluate him by what he has done. Yes. Bobi Wine tuhe vinu, Bobi Wine akira banda na PhDs na 10. Okay, so that is kanti we have illiterate people who are graduates.
But ati mukuru birija.
Yes.
Honestly, nkwenda ekintu kya schooling
ati ekyo nkuolekere ati schools produce some schools kuoleka schools educate.
Yes.
There are those who got school and leave education there.
Yes.
They don't get it. There are those who got school and come out with professional ethics. Nikiorra begesa daktari ohege kitinisa abarwaire bawe oyahure gensita za abarwaire bawe. Engineers are trained professional ethics. Teachers are trained professional ethics. That above qualification yoina oina kuba no obuntu character, because ethics ikingambire ethos kimanyisa obuntu oli muntu wekikaki.
Ekimbanye nda kukaguza atenyi education enu hata constitution ya Uganda they said to be an MP you must have under an O-level certificate.
I think kuizira
So are they wrong?
Kambanze mali hati school wogena mu isomero there are two things. Wogena mu isomero rundo rugire no mu family ne family zindi ngwagwa zero. So wogena mu isomero abamu bandu babiri barugamu omu ali educated.
Yes.
Okuhura educated ali ekintu kibeta intellectual. abandi abarugayo mu isomero baba elite okurora kintu kitweta abantu ba mistake kigamba elite kuba muntu mukugu muno wa haiguru no elite nuwe ayefwaho atekereza mu kwekara habanda abayikaleho araina akakodio kamanyire runda amanyire samu kintu takimanyire no nkusobora kumunyukulira no hao namuraba aramanyire ntate kyaru kinu nfokere MP bunda yegesa abantu bayingi bakakenga tindi garukayo bajja kundwanisa na bayikara bwarali president na nakuhaza abantu bona nukoki abo niyo group yaki elite.
Yes.
They are interested in dominating power, controlling wealth, no managing others. Batarugayo abo bakira kuba ba politicians of beta Machivillian aikiriza mu esojo zone ndaira zihe zisigale ngufu niwo sigale uli haiguru egyo niyo politics brands ze miringe ibiri hati omuntu ale elite nuwa yefuaho nuwa Greek ba yesere idiot, a selfish person. Na kozesa abandi na nyunyuta abandi, they are the ones who are terribly corrupt. Corruption kimanyisa to destroy systems ochwechwani systems zona for private gains. No sisa judiciary, no sisa public service, no sisa accountability, no sisa institution kama no buchwa buli kintu kyona no kisisa nuko osobole oyegondeza kwegondeza. Selfish people, egocentric, nyowe abandi bona tibaroho. Hati intellectual ali muntu aseruliza amagezi gona go kurorant ayambire abantu community. Nuogwe an intellectual, not an elite. So osanga unfortunately people mix schooling with education. They mix intellectuals with elites. They are not the same. Elites are selfish people. Begondeza. So baba kakuni katito kandi bezara bakagenda budo bakwenda basigale bali babudo na mwiri na ba ministers bekomangane bali babudo mulingo nkogo mirimo nabo bagigabe bali nkababudo inyo baduhaga pereche inyo bamanya gweyogerere nothing. Yes, so hati abo nubo ba elite
ego
obaserulize gonza anoja kusanga UK bayikaramba kungana. These elites are stupid, they are exploiting us. They are Eton, Oxford, Cambridge, nubo befugire politics okura omundu wena kwijja ni bamumiga togena mu Oxford gonzo ikiroto tali class yabo genda mu comprehensive secondary okura hati ni byebyo birete bizi na corruption muzi beto muntu ali intellectual afwaho bandi tayepanga. He does not exercise what we call incivility, kugaya okubaza kinaiwe. We an intellectual, everybody matters.
That is the Bunyoro we want.
That is the Bunyoro we want. We want people
who
to
are
produce
educated.
first of all intellectuals. Our schools to produce people with ethics.
Yes.
Who practice what? Good character. Who care for the common
people.
what?
Common person.
Common good. Public good. Isomero lirungi, irwaro lirungi, emihande nungi, obukama bwaitu burungi, BKD nungi, erediate kuhereza bulomu, the common good, which does not exclude or discriminate.
Anyone.
Tesorora, teihamu avandi. That's what an intellectual is. Hati itwe tukizire kusomesa, masomero gaitu gakira winga turuki abana. Kiro kia mazire degree, yafoka MP, wakuraba mikiaro, ndabirwamuzona nazi mukiaze motoka. Na atamu na dark screen. Hii msaijo ni joezi tukamukoma. Wena na itubeta hati.
Kati.
Na nikana kupata isulire mbwa. Those are the elites.
Yes.
Okay. So, ako, nuko nyendeze kuoleka, nte education cares about the common good. And therefore, what is the common good? Common good means caring about the whole community. And that's what tacitly is called politics. Guys? Politics means polite, the whole community. Polis means community, society. And society emanyisa bunyuani, friendship. Hati omundu watandika kugawanyo ti nyende ya politics, that is an idiot.
Yeah.
He's not educated. Yes, antu bali illiterate. People are very illiterate. They are degree holders, PhD holders, but they are illiterate. Tibaina kumanya. Hati ni ebyona bikapangwa abajungu mbatwegesa kusoma kwa makusu kwechulikire itwe tukikenga.
Wow.
So,
Hati, how is this connected? Education egyo schooling gyo gibalizeho schooling na education obitusobolodeire tukwenda the Bunyoro we want. What I've picked out from what you have been demonstrating on the blackboard is
on the whiteboard.
On the whiteboard. Sorry, blackboard nyo bikasigala omutwe.
Yes. Okay.
Obo ina abasomeire dwaga.
Otafwai.
Nyoka somera dwaga gauze.
Otafwai.
Hati have whiteboard. We want the educated, the intellectual who are going to do the
Bunyoro
common good.
needs to focus on going back to education. Education by practicing what we do right from home.
Yes.
I'm going to show you what it means. Then we have to have intellectuals.
Yes.
We have to have people with ethos.
Yes, ethos.
Kiro kyataire mu bukama na kingira y'abandi. That's an elite. Nabo kuleta bitekerezo byatakubyenda kubihuliriza.
Amanyire ni wamanyire.
Nuwamanyire kandi is insecure. Takweka kasa. Wo kuleta bitekerezo bye kandi bandu kabaragamba samu ko takaleta gabinu kandi bunu kabirese.
So they
ati oli movie akukingirayo. Yes.
So how is this connected to entrepreneurship? That is my next question. Abakuba subtopic yaite kubaza entrepreneurial practice kandi school. How are these two connected?
Atika mbanze ntakagenzero okwo kwenda kuleta kagamu kandi. So nkugambire education means to bring up, to raise, to nourish, kuorora. Hati nibagarukamba tukonfusinga akabwire ekigambo
Culture.
Orakyulire ekyo?
Nangwe.
Kigambo culture. Okihura?
Eno culture yaitwene nka atinko butujwa.
Oroze otandikire gena mu maji.
No nangwe nyo kaguza. Kaguza bokana nyowe I'm here to be educated.
Yes.
Or taught. Culture. What culture? When you say that word, what comes in my head? Culture ya Bunyoro, mpako, kujwara esuka, unfortunately today ingijwaire njwaire kabale ga t-shirt, kuteza amajuni ndamukia abantu bakuru, kuramukia omunyoro wange nteiza amaju.
Atebe nibyo nkugambira nti bakatwegesa. That's what we call the miseducation of the Negroes. Bintu tukabyega mahyodo.
Mahyodo kigabo kikoto muneke tiga.
Atanga. Ekam culture. Ego. Kiruga mu Faransa no mu Latini.
Ego.
Culture mu Latini colere. Urundi cultus. Okuhura nubo kyaija kyafuoka what?
Culture.
Ekigambo kino kimanyisa to cultivate.
Yes.
To care. Kurolera. To care. Nikimanyisa to raise up.
Okay.
First, kikaba nikimanyisa agriculture. Kuorora ibimera. Crops. Oburo, bihimba, nkebyo. Okura.
Yes.
Nikyo bamanyisaka. Hati barugaho batandika nkokworora ensama kirundi ki aquaculture kworora birimwa mu maizi rundi okuhura
Yego.
ati barugaho bakigarura mu medical term culturing bacteria no nanko obu bacteria bukibiki kubwega kububa finally in 19th century bakifurura to culture people.
Okay.
Ati culture kimanyisa kuorora, to raise up, to nurture. In other words, nurture muntu nkokuwa muteminga akafuoka muntu murungi. To become ethical, to become a person of good what? Character. Who is productive to
So I was
society.
right in one way.
I'm coming. Nkukwizira. Ati culture etahana level ibiri. Hati abakugwa abagisomere culture.
Yes.
Hati nyandizo kuoleka this definition is not different from education. Culture is the same thing as education. So, culture bana levels ibiri. Culture ebana kintu kitueta omwoyo, what we call superstructure. Ogeta geleza. Superstructure ebinde bikwasire ha mwoyo gwa abantu. Ebiragiro ebya society hondera. Emize rundi twakwesere usages ebintu bitukozesa ensomesa. Education is culture.
Yes.
Nkokutwe governance, politics is what? Culture. Because the way you behave in governing others must follow the tradition. Omukama waitu nkokuyatukamiraga nahiga narumba kuno naleta nahereza abantu be. That is governance, which is an aspect of culture. Culture is the way of life of the people. Ebintu byomoyo. Then negaruka nebana omusinge gwayo gubeta substructure. Substructure niyo economy.
Wow.
Okura. Niyo environment. Nibyo resources mwina nkabudongo. Hati yitukusabura. Okuhura. Nigonka oiro. Because it is the object which determines the language you speak. Okuhura. Language. Hati kuba omunyo gutaliyo kibiro kigamba omunyo kyakurugire nkabunyoro. Kuba kuhesa kutaroho emihyo bikimfuka muhesi yakurugire nka. Kuba kulisa kutaliyo kigamba buhuma kyakurugire nka. Okuhura kigamba balimi kyakurugire nka kuba mutali mulima. So it is the base which determines the mindset.
The base that determines the mindset.
Exactly. The object
that is crucial.
Determines the subject.
Yep.
These are objects, the real things we can touch. The minerals, the forest, this is what we call substructure. Hati culture tekamanyisanga kwaya kuzina kujwara engoye nungi. So
kuteza maju kubana impako.
Anti mpako ni yegyo culture. No. So this education means enculturation.
Wow. Hana rebigambo bikora abantu bona bawate.
Enculturation kukutahiyamu entekereza y'ebintu kutubikozesa. Kutukozesa ebibira byaitu. Kutukozesa ebyobugaiga byaitu, minerals, omunyo, biki niyege beta enculturation. Hata ba Christians bo bakaija nakindi ubayizire ekaba inculturation. Inculturation kimanyisa kuteka enkora y'aba Kristayo ne bagitahia mu culture yani. Barumi ne bayija ne batahia mu Buganda. Domino sekula mbagifura mu Ruganda mutandika kubazo bigamu mubikyamize nanye nimugarukamu into spirit to nafwe tuliyo. That's now bringing the accent of the Latins, the behavior of the Latins, believing in the cross, bakagitaya mu culture yani inside your
the
culture. That's inculturation. Hati enculturation is kukuorora okega abanyoro tukora tuta butulima tulima tuta. Hata ebi byatandikaga right from omwana muhesi, omwana muto akwenda ofuoke muhesi nibamutwara wa muhesi na akulirayo. That's what we call praxis. Real praxis. You grow, as you know. Omusohi nagenda naikara hanyanja okura abakwenda ba administration babatwara galihuma
nibasomero naikara okwo
okura. That's true education. You grow with it. You don't prepare the future for the child. You prepare the child for the future. Hatinga bibiri bunyorati babugamba nti mulinda amagita gabanze gaturuke nubwati mutandike kwegoza. No. Otandika ku training abantu hati mu skills ezirabafora competitive hati.
Yes.
Asali kulinda kana mufuta gaturuke nubwo kandi ogande ogendo batemu. No. So inculturation okurakurana nemize the ethos. That's why you find abantu baira bali more effective kandi bafitinga kama no mu society kukira abantu bahati bali outsiders abakatembya ndabirwamu nati hati okulira hakyaro. Lero botungire degree nubotandikire kutekereza nti bakyaro batabarogo notandika kubatina okuhura nubotandika kugana yo akyaro kutingendayo just because otungire degree. That is education to isolate you from society and divide the society.
Wow.
So this is ate itwe tutekereza katugende kuzina mutima gwa bunyoro
Kizina kia itu
kujwara. No, I think kujerege kizina, but I'm just trying to say
nangwa mutima gwa bunyoro kizibinding aho gambe kizine kikingira ho gashaya itu bayina keto mutima gwa bunyoro
kabumba rundi bigambe ebyo atoli cultural ojwairo rubugo. So you are cultural. No, it's character. Enculturation. So socialization is also education. Kimanyisa making sure you fit in society. Mu sociology bakimba socialization. No ba social na abantu, no ba friendly na abantu, no manye mizeye kinanga. So nikeke nyendeze kuoleka nti ntakagenze na hara kugenda mukya entrepreneurship kukuoleka ekyo. Hati omwana rayiga atakukora ebintu atarabire mu culture.
So what ekinkwenda aba viewers baitu bamanye ekintu kino in culturation is very important. I have picked it out. Tuina kwegesa abana baitu bagende ekintu ekibakwenda kuba bakigendemu.
That's where we are going now. So
obwana rana enda kuba teacher. Mutandikizo mu teacher no mutwaro mu isomero agendo kwakulira mbasomesa
omanyira bajungu hano
ego
family erum bajungu basomesa ekureri abasomesa ba industrialist bakura bali ba industrialist ba agriculture balimi bakura bali balimi na mafarm but are specialized nikyo revenue byabo tibigwa.
That's very important.
No, Sanga family business started in 1820.
Ekiagenda
maiso. Kionka itwe. A family just 2 generations ehindwira business na business tokiyuka no ku
na beba ataliki.
Nyo isengrunyo akabadaktari. Hatindiki. Okur. So just recently
I know when I was studying my masters we were told about Sainsbury.
Yes.
Sainsbury is a family business actually. It started
I've done research on most of these companies.
Yes.
They are started by families.
Yes.
So the first institution of instance, the first school of instance is the family, a strong family. System yona, government yona, ejerega families is the enemy number 1 of the people.
I know.
Of society. Because that is the institution. Wakara families in a divorces nyingi, this is stable, orphans buying, you know the society is doomed.
So it's
So-
important for us to take
So,
our children
kabuze
where we
kabuzo
want.
kinde
Hati
kigaruka.
entrepreneurship when
Yes.
connecting with schooling and educating.
I think nironyetegereza
Nkwetegereza
culture is the same as education because it is to cultivate, kuorora, to rear. There's no difference between that one. But ebigambo ebimba kubuzabuza ati you not abikuwata kurungi.
There you go.
So, entrepreneurship. Okura, nkwenda letu malikara.
Kanturambara kare biga.
Kuwa abantu.
Obwe buying hano bakukaguze bakusima mahano.
Ati kigambo entrepreneurship kikaruganka. Egambe kikatandikwa omusajja bobeta Baptist.
Not John the Baptist.
Baptiste
Say, okay.
mu Fransa akabanza kikozesa mwaka gwa 1828. Baptist say ekigambo ekyo kiyo Faransa kandi Latin. Omanyire bajungu bano batabagezi nkyo ngwenda kandi banyorobege. Omujungu we akarunga halaka hikire akanyakura nakafuorake.
Ekyo kiri important.
Language yona ya administration ekira hano eta yababirigi balatini na bafransa. Hatitu kandi owaitu tubinga bubinga.
Titukwenda
Ki America is great. Whoever comes with talent is an American that day.
Yes, even here.
Farahanu Musomali buya irukire mu hanu bikumi
He's now
yafoka our man.
And he's now a sir.
Aha, is now a sir. Itweke tukikora. That's part of education we miss. So, entrepreneur on Baptist ekigambo ekyo akaleta bigambo bibiri. Ekigambo enter and pendrace. Ebigambo bibiri ebyo mu Latini. First of all, it means to undertake. Kikaba nkimanyisa kubanza no kubanza choir master akwebembera choir. Nwa ubundo akujerega Bobi Wine nti muzini tabana amagezi, but kini kigambo katandikwa abazini, and the economists eventually took it up. So, undertake. To undertake to do what? Kuimukia, to promote or to manage. Baitu omuntu aserulize obwokuseruliza kurungi abakuguba Russia, abakuguba China, abakuguba France, bagamba mazima ekigambo kino interpredes kimanyisa to grab, kunyaga.
Wow.
Kunyakura. And yes, kunyakura, to take control. To take what? Control. No, nyakura. And it was associated with revolutionary wars. Obulemu. Nibaruga kuli ba France abamahe. Nibehinguliriza akachweka karumu abantu bagayiga. Nibakarumba nibakanyaga. It involved what we call strategy. No tekanira kurungi nga kuora barumba kubanyaga. It involves what? Strategy. Kyo kraje nyabagamba tusaku irukia BKD tutaina strategy.
Tuinakuwa na strategy.
It's a military work. Yes. Strategy and organization, which is strategy, and it involves risk. Inakwe hayo kufuano kukira.
Kabalega kakigamba.
And entrepreneurship. Yes, and kigambo entrepreneurship ntabatwaire hara.
Ego. Ekyo kiri important, ekyo tukwenda
kimanyisa oina kuyiya nkukora strategy egyo creativeness.
Kuyiya omurunyoro atenye nikyo ki.
Kuyiya. to create first of all nakore ki
aroha no viewer white are very upset when we use Kiganda words in this program.
ati manyire unfortunately nikie kiongenda kubagamba that's also think manyisogo it's also part of illiteracy not knowing because Bunyoro right from the time of Bachwezi is a heterogeneous community. Bunyoro was an empire.
I know.
Hatitwe tukugina kuhaza. Empire means you control other communities and they mix. Bunyoro kabalega kabana obutale teso akabana obutale busoga what were called satellite markets akabana obutale Congo bulega akabana obutale Burundi Rwanda and so on. Hati mubutamanya bwaitu we are going back to tribal idiotic culture. Ndo habwa abandi okura
tuinakubaza ugambo byonka byo
unafu obutwina obukusiga
kale katugaruke hakitu kya itukine kya
so ati creative mko okupanga kantu okarugayo na akakodio akora kozesa na innovation kimanyisa ekyo omuntu onda kozere no kiongeraho obukugu ona akakora computer nikiongera no giongera mu software zindi no gisemeza run no designinga kurungine nyirira kira nko tunde hati innovation and creation tiziba zintu bintu byobusinge they must disrupt they must French Revolution American Revolution disrupted British rule but British bakamba controlling America by disrupting that's enterprise government is enterprise so by disrupting abai babinga y'abajungu 1776 mwaka goro 10 nsanju na mukaga ba France barobuka mambo bamigiza muno butakubaha progress bagi disrupting through French Revolution. That's what enterprise means. Babunaga babuhindura omunaku akabata kunirwa alilemaho France Napoleon yarugayo a chan of a peasant yahindura France yayombeka a city ekukirayo burungi munsi yona Paris okura yes without that innovation Napoleon would die an ordinary man titwakumumanyire okay again so that's what entrepreneurship means hatitu abanyo ebigambo bintu tuyetegereza entrepreneurship eba level isatu rundi you can call it 3 levels ekitweta civic entrepreneurship that is no civic kimanyisa society public community no organizing public mwine kigenderwa kimuragobamu hati mubana abantu batakusobora kutekaniza abantu bakabegesa kwe kuba besimbu because an entrepreneur tayesengereza is an independent man because he's capable of producing what he wants. He's never a beggar. Okura hati egyo that's the first level of entrepreneurship. No core organization, community enterprises, community what kweyemerezaho burungi bwensi ni mwerimira muhanda nimukora security yanyu ziba ni mulisemeza nibatera kanga bayije kizibu kigwiroho
abantu na
nibayija omunako alakiaru ni mujani muombekera that is civic entrepreneurship public management because entrepreneur is an organizer nikyo kimanyisa organizer ebintu bindi byona itaka bibira minerals are redundant mu rujungu tubieta mu economics tubieta passive resources passive factors of production bibyamire bietaga an organizer who is an entrepreneur hati umusomesa abantu abalinke entama bayikala babyamire amanyire nti hati bamfoire headmaster kino computer nkagisanga hanu telugaho inspector bwalija agisange hano biro nebiro nkasanga isomero litaina faamu tinsa kutaho faamu hataho ekyaro kifuire na abakwegesa bona bajja kuba boturo entama, not enterprising, not aggressive, not ready to disrupt.
You told us those three things: strategy, risk, and what?
Organization. You must be ready for them.
Yes.
And you must be aggressive. Entrepreneurship eyakabiri niyo itweta business economic and business what? Entrepreneurship. Kaputa kuandika mukuru.
Kalamu butuhoireho.
Kabwandire mukuru.
Mukuru vice chairperson.
Ati nieno ogambireke economic and business entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Ebyo byobugaiga. Ebibira biribita, eitaka lirita, sente zita, nkozerenta magoba. Egyo niyo business entrepreneurship. No later you produce goods, take them to market for exchange, and then consumers eat. So that's business entrepreneurship, which is purely for profit. Better profitable welfare of the community.
It's important, that one. I really think we need the Bunyoro we want. We want the civic. We want all of them.
All of them.
But I would rather we start with the civic entrepreneurship.
You see, you cannot have civic entrepreneurship without gain. Civic entrepreneurship produces production. Because a cooperative is a civic entrepreneurship. Then they go into business.
Yes.
Once emioyo wekaterana, hatinka BKDA. Mukaikara just mukunyumya radio biki bandu batakugobamu. It will be a useless thing.
Yes.
It must produce something and show results.
Yes.
Tangible. Bandu bajwale kurungi, bandu bavuge motoka, bandu bakoleki, atalekyo mukuba munganikyo, you will just be in fiction doing nothing. So, ending kugambira business key entrepreneurship. Because land teyekora oinagikozesa, entrepreneur nuagikozesa. Labor is a redundant thing, passive. Abakozi bakozesebwa kietaga omuyi akusobora kudisruptinga system na akuiha muturo na akusisira oturo twawe itaka nalitabura nalitematema. You don't plant crops without disrupting the ground. Do you?
No.
Yes. So you disrupt society, you disrupt and so on. So you must take risk to do that, to make economic gain. Then on another level of entrepreneurship, bageta entrepreneurship. Hati entrepreneurship wakuho mulimo mu organization hati nkaiwe bakufoire treasurer samba mufoire
abantu bageta kabagambire niyo wetulisha
nyoni nyo advisor mbalize ono mamuleta hanu mu radio eno adisangire iretyo. You must find a way of making the radio more productive. You reorganize. Hatinka katikiro waitu wekitinisa.
Ego.
Taija agenda mu bukama ngoko abusangire ngoko byabayiro ebiro nebiro nuko birisangwa nuko birisigara. That is not good. Yes. You must always take risks and change the organization internally. Oli headmaster isomero lisangire tirina farm abana balete byokulya kurugo muka kionko ina ika 10. Disrupt the system. Let them have a farm, a school farm. Feed them from there. You get me? Yes. Manya mtasaba bazaide. No. Mlete pound 10. Risk. Risk. Baramenda kubinga mulimo abazaide bakugoba mbaja kwemera rundi ba student, but you have risked. Without trying, you cannot get the benefit. Okay, again. So, hategyo ni egyo obwire bwikiri. Ati egyo niyo tweta entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Ato omuntu atali itwe ekibakozere kubi kutukora ba colonials bayizire. Kintu kyokubanza bakatandika ku preaching anti tutabe no butale. Tutabe na business. Hapo kuba British Empire is an enterprise. abasuubuzi nibo bayekulembeire batuma explorers baleta bamahe to give security to their businesses baleta abanyadini kutuhinduramu obwongo kake
Yego.
mbatandike kugamba omunaku kutaha mu iguru oyiro arabi kikwisana ngokuraba mu liso lyenkinzo. In other words, you start accepting poverty as a noble thing. Then they started telling us that we are poor because we are poor because we are poor. Even to have economics. Africa is poor because they are poor because they are poor. So we're in a vicious circle of that. No, but they come omoyo gukutegeza ntutaba naku no.
Yes.
Kuyiya nuko kukuburaho tibuli bunako. We are not poor.
Yes.
Africa is the richest continent. Hati obwongo ba miseducation of the African. They said we are poor. How can you be poor when America is wealthy because of Congo's minerals?
Exactly.
How can you be poor when Uganda is the pearl of Africa?
How can Bunyoro be poor when we have so
Exactly.
oil of the whole country?
Ask all of those questions. Even agriculture itself. We can feed the whole of East Africa. We
In
can
Bunyoro?
yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Nitwe nguli ekusakulisa East Africa. So anyway, hata ikinkwenda kuoleka nti Bunyoro, we are not organizers. Our schools are not producing organizers. Our families are not training organizers. Our kingdom is not training organizers. Therefore, we don't have entrepreneurial mind. To be amire. We have chosen to be laborers. We have chosen to be beggars instead of entrepreneurs. We have chosen to sell off our things. Otunde kibira, otunda mataka, otunde biki. Instead of, because we have been trained to be consumers instead of being entrepreneurs who produce. And that is the mindset ya Bunyoro eina koraki kuhindura. First, to have courage. If what makes us human is courage, abantu bakimanyire. It's only when you are not courageous, you are not a human being. Ejo ne subject erendi kahandiko likankaguza. What does courage mean?
Yes.
You are only human when you are courageous.
Ate tukwenda summarizing obugambo busatu tusobole genda hakuhumura tugaruke.
Oh, tugaruka.
Ego.
So, mubigufu education
Yes.
kimanyisa kufuayo. Kano fuayo hauburungi bwensi. And the common good is polity, society, which is politics. Omudoma wena aija kukugambira nyoti mfuaho. Bwogamba timfuaho politics okumanyisa tofuaho abantu bawe. Politics is not about Museveni. Politics is not about MPs. Politics is about your society. Oburungi bwensi. Nsemerero karoko kaikyo kakirugamu ati kyo gamba nanga. Second, culture.
Ego.
Tiki manyisa kujwara tiki. Byonna bibaku bagamba cultural king. That's empty. It is emptiness. Tikina na bioya byanswa. It has no meaning. Because culture means economy, politics. You understand? Society. So boihamu economy, okaihamu budongo forest, okaihamu oil ya Bunyoro, okaihamu buliki. That's not culture. It is something else.
Yes.
Toina choir master.
We don't have a choir master.
Yeah.
So we need a choir master in Bunyoro. Abanyoro na Abanyoro Kata and friends of Bunyoro. We are going away for a short break and we'll be returning with the second half of this show. Mwebale mnokutuninga in sore mutuganyire this time mutusobole kubaza nokusoma ebimukaguza baitu Bunyoro tenyi birijo waragaruka ngenda kuba ni musomera some of the questions and please remember to call in. Our number is plus 447754572890. We will be back after the break. See you then. Bye.
Nimuhuliriza iraka lya Bunyoro kuruga mu diaspora on TGM Radio.
Uganda angalia itu mukanwa kazina tukuzina hali Bunyoro Blesseneli John Tekafa Little Ivante tulibasini ba Bunyoro mukama nitwijuke kitinisa ekihanga lyaitu bunyoro 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 tukugonza muno bunyoro kaniwe mutima gwa Uganda tukugonza muno bunyoro ebirungi byona bisangibwa bunyoro tukugonza muno bunyoro kaniwe mutima gwa Uganda tukugonza muno bunyoro ebirungi byona bisangibwa bunyoro bagambire ebyensi tebitwina ebitubaire tutamanyire baitu byotubibyamire bunyoro twine byobugaiga byakabalega kabamanyire wakana bajungu kwijo omunuka mu Uganda bunyoro tukwasire kyokubanza ettaka litwina ettaka lirungi muno ettaka likweza ebyokulya tikikabaga kizibu bunyoro yaitu webalitukuza
ekibira kya budongo kituwa embaawo zamani kituweereza enjula ekonu netumala ennyanja mwitanzige etuweereza enchunungi ndeke nzinire bunyoro Peter, I can tell them yenaukarumorole amaizi nkugakwetaula ogende akikonkokya bukyabwa matizo ni folusi national park esika bajungu nibaija okurambula bunyoro bunyoro
tukugonza muno bunyoro
alcity
kaniwe mutima gwa Uganda tukugonza muno bunyoro ebirungi byona bisangibwa bunyoro tukugonza muno bunyoro kaniwe mutima gwa Uganda tukugonza muno bunyoro ebirungi byona bisangibwa bunyoro
mwebale muno kwijja kuwuliriza eiraka lya bunyoro okuruga mu diaspora on TGM Radio.
Hello, welcome back. Hairaka lya bunyoro diaspora as ninyowe Caroline Ajuna Kibuka Atenyi. People were asking, they do not know my name. I'm Caroline Ajuna Kibuka Atenyi. Team kuru birija Atenyi omunyoro birija Atenyi atakagarukiremu atakatandikire where we stopped with our last part. I just want to read a few questions or views that our viewers have talked about here. There is Edward Nyakana who says, Atenyi, we got to address these issues of land grabbing. Otherwise, our kids have no place in Bunyoro. Ogo niwo mkuru Edward Nyakana akwendo to a way of discussing the land grabbing in Bunyoro. Then I heard someone who was talking about the 700 youth that have been trained, and he was disagreeing with you, saying that actually Bunyoro people have been trained. Kionka nkusere kaguzo kinu tinkirora abainagamba 700 youth have been trained in oil, and another 1,000. I think he said he even quoted New Vision. That article is in the New Vision. Obunda kirora Atenyi nja kikugambira, and you see how you can address this issue about oil training. Omulingo twina oil mu Bunyoro, abana baitu baina kuba trained in this sector. Baitu omukuru ogwo abaina gezao kutwijukiza and actually abana ba Bunyoro, they are being trained. Hati, do you want to address the land issue now?
Kambigaruke mbibire byona bona bwangu
Ego.
Kubogwa abena mpondera kurungi. Kantandike no training.
Yes.
I told you schooling is training. Basa kwegesa skills.
Yes.
Notamanya management. Oma seruliza abandu ba oil abo kibakora. bakatwekaga omuntu bandu bainga bakira kutweka kusoma the politics of oil. Baija kutweka engineer akoragana na spana bonze kuike a PhD kionka kukugambira nyowe ebya politics ebyo tabingambiraga when what actually runs petroleum is the geopolitics of oil. It's not the engineer. Harna siwa kona tobana na nanka na spana zenaki for himself and his family, not for Bunyoro. Tutwina aba geologists baikaire bangi ba mani ba Bunyoro bali mu bikaru bya mani bantu baingawa bagaiga haizi baikaire mu petroleum Bunyoro. So schooling baija training skills ba training ki otaina ki omanyire bakuvuge vuga. I told you labor is a passive factor of production. It is the entrepreneur who is the active factor manager. Baingawa batire mu management. Okay, so basa no training of Bunyoro yona. Hatu wagambire Bunyoro abasomere bahayo. The first graduate woman was from Bunyoro. What impact did she have on Bunyoro? Omukazi mu East Africa wena yabanze kutunga degree akaba Bunyoro.
Bamwetago ha mutwijukiza abanyoro bamumanya bukati. Bamumanyire
Abantu
abantu basora ko batamumanya.
Bamumanyire.
Okay.
Okay. Secondly, I told you if you are not risk takers, you cannot protect anything. When you don't have courage, you are not human. Ekigambo kyo grabbing itaka. Obule mu itaka obu tukapatandika ndi hanu largely because of fighting for land. Ebiro 13 June ni kyata bwa chairman kintu kinyabandize kora 2006 ekaba kugaba report about the grabbing of land in Bunyoro turusu mukama commission Kiambogo nyaboleka kuba kunyaga mataka kijunjubwa. Why we have a problem of roaming pastoralists? Because they have been deliberately displaced. Kiriandongo, Bulisa, Kibale, the report is there. Nkia inayo paramenda kiro kimunjengi basomera. Omnyo katikiro Erisa Kagoro omugenzi, may he show rest in peace.
Amen.
Ya handika report nonya ihira na report yange twagendaga no radio talk about land issues kyonka Abanyoro mukurwanisa NRM yaitu but those are excuse you are avoiding to take risk. But if you want to protect your things, you must stand up.
True.
Otege mbanda.
True.
Abandi bazate bafuera abandi. But now what you do, a person who is leading you, you leave him to dry in the sun alone. Inyo ni muiruka ni mwesereka.
I know.
Atogo muse nugo gutufoire bintu. That's why we are not human, because we lack courage. We are not risk takers. We cannot protect our own resources. They will take control. They will grab them. I told you entrepreneurship means what? Grab. Mtuletera entrepreneur Bunyoro, mtuletera.
Chali tuikara ntukibaza batuletera by entrepreneur Bunyoro.
Mtuletera NGOs chali. NGOs are appendages of grabbers.
They are going to grab our land, our
NGO bahuijomuro. Omanyire mbeba kwe kunena. Embewe kunena ne kufuhiraga. NGOs ezo zisasurwa kampuni.
Unfortunately nyembe batekane naga.
Tukakura kubi tuli bana banaku. Embewe nzi tunena. I can't deny tuli bana banaku tuli kubi. I grew up an orphan. No sanga kisinziro kione kirire. Yonga ne kuhuhira tohura. Nena
bambi.
Nena omusayi kutuka tokuhura bukwe kuhijira. Hati NGOs ezo rora zitao kutudomia kuhuijira.
Ego.
Yes. God is there. God is good. But most of these religions came kuhuijira. They are like the NGOs. Kutudomia. Kakinyata kuyagambire. They said, let us pray. Close our eyes and pray. By the time we opened, facing Mount Kenya, by the time we opened our eyes, we had the Bible. They had taken the land. Okay, hate vindu nikiora nyowe tinkira kwa hisa ni vindu ya NGOs, the culture of donors. No, bitakudomya abantu bwolibonye tunga bwire bundi ndibaza NGOs hatu musigazo gwakubaza manya abakutraining abantu me I did oil and gas management, I did petroleum contract. I studied petroleum contract, I studied geopolitics of oil. Bunyoro research paper yange nkagihandika Hoima na Bulisa petroleum area. 15,000 words kandi nyasoma na abantu abakutweka government ya Uganda abatali Banyoro who are given special documents to prepare. They go straight away from here and become managers. Inyo Abanyoro bainga bahire scholarship batalo baki abala Kiala street. Those I graduated with are still on the streets, no jobs. But those they graduated with are already in top
ate nja kusaba ogendeho mu chat site turugire ha air kaguzo ki omwami ogo. Unfortunately I'm looking for it. He had a long sentence he had written.
I know what they think.
So you would go back otuyambo garuke yo mu chat omo garuke mu abantu basore ku following up, because I know people go back and look at this show because it's a recorded show. Osobole kubagarukamwe bikaguze ebyo kandi obahe your views about their questions.
Me, I will talk about oil and gas. I will talk about it.
Yes.
I will talk about a rentier economy. What we mean by rentier economy. Rentier economy creates what we call rentier space. Hati bokura mbabinga abanyoro mataka haine mbafanza bateka barracks haina nanka amaziba nanka mbagaruka mbaleta abantu mbafensinge bichweka. They are creating what we call rentier space to keep away the locals so that they do their things inside.
Yes.
I know land grabbing dynamics in petroleum. I'm not gambling. Okay,
Ojagaruko tunyumize
my masters in oil and gas
about oil and gas so that we know where we are going with this oil that we have in Bunyoro.
Kakora research yange internet ekaije. All my research, all my data, I collected it from Bulisa, from what? There's nothing I don't know. Nyoni abanze no kaguza ha website ya petroleum ya Uganda. Habwaki oil and gas policy bagi translating ile mu ndimi zona.
And it was not translated in Runyoro.
Yes. Bunyakagwizeke babi how ha Facebook.
Wow.
Yes.
Hati Omunyoro Birija, sorry to cut you short about oil because I know oil is a big topic.
It's a big subject.
It's a big subject. Tusobora kuraraho hanu tubaza hari oil ya Bunyoro.
Yes.
Hati nkwenda kukaguza. How does it help? How does entrepreneurship help in Bunyoro we want now?
Good. So, why is that topic important? Entrepreneurship, empire is an enterprise. Bukama bwa Bunyoro tibukaba ga culture yo kuikara mbabu haisaniza. Obukama bwa Bunyoro was a business.
True.
Just as British Empire was a business. It is not by accident that it's called Commonwealth. Okay, Commonwealth kikumanyisa bagenda India mbaye ubugaiga bwa mbaye Uganda bakatinyunyuta myaka 78 nibakyaleta ubugaiga butuikaliro buno. So bukama bwa Bunyoro was an enterprise. How? Omukama nuwe yaroleraga obutale bwona
omutalindwa akabitusomesa
yes. Omukama nuwe yaroleraga obutale bwona ati mutalindwa yakozere he has simplified my work.
Yes.
Okay, obutale bwona were typically the king. Kutandikira Omuhoza was the immediate administrator in a market on behalf of the king.
Yes.
Bintu muura manya bakaguza Bobi Wine manya fiscal policy bajunguti bali nubabiresere. Fiscal policy kimanyisa misoro okagikozesa kuombeka emihanda kuombeka amasomero naki. The kingdom already had that.
Yes.
The biggest problem itwina nuko kusomaga without relating those things to the African idioms. Okura omusoro is what we call tax. Kuomeka emihanda biki tukaba nemihanda nyingi. Bunyoro had great networks, strategic networks for trade.
I know.
Kutandika katwe kuika
mpaka kule north
kamara nanka mtalindwa yara ya basomesezi. So the king was a managing director of a business enterprise. Kibiro, Katwe Salt were his. All the market streets, market were his. Tributes were paid. Waisaza no bwesengezibwe. Basirikale baro kulinda to protect markets for production.
Yes.
Na ruga waisaza nibagarukao abamabohora. Mbaruga amabohora mbagaruka abaki bemiruka. Paka mikuri bakuru bemigongo. Kandi production egyo ne raba periods were organized was not by accident. Bajungu tibakapulate raga kalenda. The calendar nubo obusumi obuohura. No ohura obusumi, the year was divided into 12 months. Nibahondera routine y'omwezi omwezi nko gurubata. Baga mwaka kugabirwe emirundi ebiri. Kasambura na itoijo. Kasambura niyo equivalent ya sama ya hanu. Tuina igesa, tuina buli mwezi gwine kigendera kyakyo.
Aroha nabairege nabitusomesa hano.
Isiga ohura. Busumi bwokusiga periodically.
Yes.
So there was periodicity. Now everybody was induced and inducted, and it was a praxis. Mwana naruga hansi na atura no muzairu we hamusiri ayegere. There was true education. Not just mere schooling. Education was praxis. It was practice. Hato mukama na yombeka obutale teso akabayino obutale. Satellite market. There were specialized markets. Abahesi bayino obutale bwabo. Abasohi bayino obutale bwabo. Abente bayino obutale bwabo. And the organization bahuma kikumanyisa pastries. They bought from agriculturists.
True.
And the Bulisa is called Bulisa because Balisa gente. Kandi baregente zo mukama.
Yeah.
Okuhura. So every market was strategic and under the king.
True.
Now today we are having institutions which are there in name and redundant. Omujunguki yaizire yayole yatanika kuandika history nti Africa tutabe no butale. Bunyoro tutabe no butale. And yet Bunyoro was the classic example. Ekyo mujungu yarwanisize muno Bunyoro, and he made sure he controlled Bunyoro and Buganda because they were classic examples of international markets. Kandi boni bendo butale obwo. So as superior entrepreneurs with superior guns, they grabbed entrepreneurs using war. Hatu barugiraho batuchanga obwongo na colonial system. Batwegesa nti you, when you're a public servant, you don't talk about politics. You must be neutral. Public servants don't talk about politics. Okukudomia, kugumaza, miseducation. Bwoba mchachi ofwokere musosoroti tobaza politics kandi bo bapadira bakwera. Nibarabayo, nibakora DP, nibakora UPC, nibakora ki to divide us. Hati baletaho ensigo embi kabalega akaba ahikire toro na akoragana n'abanyankole n'abatoro twina busoga northerners by ethnicity erohejo balango bakimba twara babitu kuba boruganda rwabo mbasuburira Bunyoro. So it was a business enterprise. It was not just to sit there. Hata bajungu kibaizire kwita katalako basobole kuleta byabyo obusubuzi. Nikyo kurora bubakusanga no kore mundu mbakutema omukono. A blacksmith bakusanga no kore enfuka mbakutema omukono. Nikyo muhandiko mubeta Rodney yagambire omujungu akatusanga n'enfuka. Bwakaba nagenda yakuleka n'enfuka. Kyonke enfuka yatusangire nayo ekaba yayitu tukwekolera. Bwakaba nagenda akatulekera enfuka ibakuleta.
Yayitu bagitulemesa.
Abajungu bano gonze mu London hano na America baina amaju agombekewe no budongo. They are fantastic. They are painted if you see them. batakozesa seminti bajja batugoya obwongo nti otombekera enju na seminti
toinanju
nibenda kutunda ebyabwe hati batanakoleta seminti batuihaha our own
Budongo.
technology pyramids za Egypt ozimanyire
tinkagendayo ga Egypt
ozihuura
ego
katamu seminti
nangu
zimazire emyaka engao
nyingi
there are Mexican cities which are entirely built by mud so batwegesa consumer culture engeso yokulya bulya tutakuproducing hatu nikyo kuro kama waitu government niye bohe musoro kiro kiyo kukora empango tutandika kusabiriza wewe nankaleta yoti kakemboleta yoti jaleta yoti no the king should be the giver nikyo bamweteraga omukama yakamiraga abantu be nahigira abantu be oburusura bukaba kuhigira abantu be so it was a business enterprise. What I expect now, the king to have a vision and a strategy to make families productive, to make schools productive, to have community centers to educate people, to be enterprising, to be aggressive, to protect their land. Kutagirira omuntu ekisa. An entrepreneur is an independent person. No begging. Tuga abantu abagaiga bakwijja just for photo opportunity kutekinga n'omukama nti nyonyenda muno omukama ntekingira ekisa now no. What are you doing to make the kingdom enterprising? Those are the things we should be talking about.
That's the Bunyoro we want.
Nikenya bagambye nyo BKD etali productive. Tinkugira.
Hati omulingo fokere advisory board waita mukama waitu ojja kutuyamba BKDA niye sponsoring this program to make sure abantu anu bakugamba people in the diaspora. Edward Nyakana, today Nyakana is my best friend because everything he's talking about I am looking at it. I don't know why. He says diaspora has to speak up for our people because ignorance is the biggest enemy of our people in Bunyoro.
Nikyo program eni nyagitandikiri and it is not cheap.
It's not.
You have to be courageous to lose.
Yes.
To sleep hungry and make sure you meet the
Yinja abantu aba advisory board abali ha BKDA mwino mulimo mukoto muno kutuguidinga itwe tusobole kuba abantu abakubaliza Bunyoro
naito abo kuba ni nyondi mugezi abantu bone abagezi bakunkira bali ahero
baliyo
naiwo oliyo
nyowendi
hano to
guide,
to what, to stimulate, to motivate.
Yes.
Better ideas than mine to come on.
Yes.
I'm not speaking because I know everything. I'm just stimulating.
Yes.
That's what a leader is to do. To set a vision and envision people. Kulete kiererezi okakibateeka mu abantu hati bakakora ebindi.
I go.
So aho nuonye ndize kugambira Bunyoro ekutahira munka. Unfortunately this is a 1-hour program.
Yes.
And I can't go into much detail.
Okay, hati nkobutugwa manyire awa yaitu rai kuwahira biroho gaira kyonka injini atuhaire atugirire kisa
kwenda gabantu bakaguze mukake
hati abantu nkombagambire ge enamba yaitu eri +44775457 2890. Please feel free to call into the studio and ask any question that you want Mr. Birija to address. Hati meanwhile intulinda ba viewers baitu na ba listeners baitu to call in, probably they will call in. What specific lessons can we learn from entrepreneurship for Bunyoro?
One, nti Bunyoro tuina kumanya to stand in for ourselves. Tubebe esimbu busaho omuntu Adam Smith yakozere economics akagamba omukinjagi tasarente muhakyaro ndabo kuba kukwenda
omukinjagi
takaijaga kusarente hakyaro ndabo kuba abenda muno abana asubura abana ekigenderwa kye
true
no muchumbi wo mwenge tachumbo mwenge ndabupwa kwende kyaro abane kigenderwa kye hati nyo abali excited into by entrepreneurs bayizire tujya kuba kurungi mutekwatire
aba entrepreneur
abonza kasera karungi
akego yera
mukama wa mufu
amwekwatira amweyogeze oba amwekwatira
Okay, so what I'm trying to say is abanyoro, if we don't become aggressive, tukaleka obudomadoma
tukasaga tukaikala okwo
okufuotokera,
tukaikala
we must be
tweserekere.
entrepreneurs means be ready to take the risk, have a strategy, be ready to grab any opportunity that comes.
That's why even us here, the Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom in the diaspora, yasazira okukora program wenu. We took a risk. We did not know that people like you will come and tell us these things. To a risk, but unfortunately or fortunately, our risk is coming up.
Don't be inward looking, be outward looking. Kankweko kurolera. Banyoro onganyire. Tinda against anybody, but I'm just giving an example. Miaka asatu, we have been under the same system.
System ukikani.
Nkarundi kankuoleke nundi nka government.
Okay.
Kionga buli kiro tuchura titukurore mpindu kabunyoro. Okuhura hati we fear to cause a change. How can you change without causing a change? Okay. Secondly, kankwekindi kyokurora. Kabalega, to make Bunyoro great.
Yes.
Grab the Congo, resources from Congo, grab the resources from the north, grab the resources from the east, grab the resources from Buganda, and so on. Hati tukutina tutukwenda abantu bandi batubemu. America is great because it's a mixture of people. We don't want to take that risk. We want to be to ourselves. How can we progress? Kikusoboka?
No. But at a challenge eri hanu, we bring in people, then these people grab our land.
No! We bring in people when we are not prepared. Education should make us competitive. There are two things in management, in strategy. Competence, okutiekera.
Okutiekera, yes.
Embaizi. Okabarede, warakuzanisa, no gimutemesa, okuura. So, no ruganso tiekera abana banyu, bali bulindara, bala standby. Okuura.
Ego.
Second, competitiveness. Kusimbiranwa. So, competence and competitiveness. Nichi education ena kutwegesa to be entrepreneurial. Bera atu muramulesere mwikalire mulinzira abombekere. How do you expect omukinjaga izireke kusara ente kukulisa ngira izire kukora magoba?
Ego.
Mihanda batukoleye mihanda
bakoze tuzina nangwa nangwa. So basically abanyoro tuina kuimera tube courageous and work for ourselves. Okay, and entrepreneurs are fine, they can come in because anytime they will grab our land, but we must be ready, courageous to fight them. That's what you're telling us to learn from this.
Facebook akabaho kasani ko muzaire yesere bana be yabahereza ebando yo bunyansi obuti abutire ham abusibire ham buti yagamba omwana akachwe yagabira buli mwana bwa mulema yayihamukamu yakamuheza akachwesa mukono gumu yahoereza ondi yakachwesa mukono gumu yawakaguza mumanyire ekyo kumanyisa
nangu.
United you cannot be broken, divided you will be broken. That's the missing link in Bunyoro.
So abanyoro na abanyoro kati na aba friends of Bunyoro inywena tukubenda together united
we stand and win.
Win.
Nobody will break us.
Nobody
Divided.
will break us. Hati, just to get to our last question because we have taken a lot of time.
At least 15 minutes.
Which way of Bunyoro Kitara Bunyoro Kitara Development Association in which sponsors this program here? Which way should we take as well?
Genda ha website ati ya Bunyoro Kitara. First of all, nyo ezimu zinya access ingire. Baja kutera constitution. Boku kliki ngaho. Details coming. Okukama mumaziri myaka ingaho. nkabiri na up to now we don't know what constitutes Bunyoro. So constitution is the first document with which you train your people, you educate your people, because a constitution is a constitution means makeup. Ekikoro ekikwoleka tuli baki, the people who are there. What resources do we have? What do we intend to do? Hati secondly, nogenda halink ende kugamba strategy, nogitikinga ekugamba details yet to come. So how can you for 20 years kuota in a plan? Because the strategy is a plan. It includes vision, how to mobilize resources and how to make them productive. Everyone, first of all, let us organize. Who is Bunyoro? Where are we? Where do we want to go? How do we go there? Okiregeza ekyo, hati turakora ekyo, then tutandike kutiekera abantu baitu. Develop their competencies, make them competitive. Tule kutwara mu parliament abantu abakufuota kafuota kera. A district leader or a council chairman otunge billions ziti manya biragiro biri biti yeta council yawo ogambe tukukora kino. For example, nyonka bangambire Bunyoro tuli bake, our population is small, but we can get opportunities. Let's build a Bunyoro market in Kampala, because batabara embao zaitu, makara gaitu, biki nchu zaitu tuombeke katale Kampala akakusobola kuba n'emiryango nka 50 store yembaho ya makara yaki abana baitu bapangisi bagenda okwo hati mukaro kyaba middlemen kwija bakatukora mamogoba ito nitu tubyetwale tuombeke kandi kenchuguru tuombeke kandi Arua tuombeke kandi Sudan. That was my local government strategy. Beru baligwire mwebyo ono tali mundu murungi hano okura. So okuyiya isomero liyiye, community center yiye, village yiye, hatali kuikara nyondi chairman wa stamp. No, that's the problem.
Okay, so nibyebyo
nibyo twina kukora. Let us become an enterprising kingdom. Have a strategy, have a clear constitution, have a clear ideology. What does culture mean? Culture does not mean singing. Culture does not mean dressing or kneeling for each other, calling each other pet names. Culture means economy, politics, and enterprise.
Okay, webale muno Omunyoro atenyi birija no bigambe ebyo byotugambire hati tugenda kuruga ha line. Ha on air. Habo kuba bwire butulabiroho nabantu tibateire kyonka ebikaguzo ngiro bwire kandi ba concentrating mainly on writing in the chat nikyo nkusabira tenyi oborabo soboire ogende mu chat yaitu kunu ogarukemo ebikaguzo beraba kagwize osobole kubagarukamu nabo
kakimurunde kigumu nekikaka
bikaguzo byaitu binu bizi byokusera habo kuba we have on Mugi Samuel Muzei Kabije, we have 12 Bunyoro working in the PAU, and more people from Bunyoro are being sponsored to study oil related disciplines. One beneficiary is online watching with us this program UK. Ha ha ha. Ogonwe Mugisa Samuel.
Did you hear what I said? They can train you to be an elite who is anti your people. Aroka gamkanku avoiding kugamba akanta kwenda abukuba kakwaro munywani wankani nyo unyenda bakakosa kwata munywani. They can train you to become a useful idiot. A useful idiot nwenya gambire buli a house slave. Bwoba oli muiru oli munju yo mukama otekereza mukama wawe otekereza niwe mukama wawe. Nenju yokurara mweri yawe. Hati mwijja kuba nabanda abatrainingire barugeyo basibe sengenge batwala amataka bombeke mahoteli marungi ganyirire bakoleki, but that's not Bunyoro. It is for the elite's benefit. Kuba abaira honderi binkuga basa training. What is 200 people trained or 12 people trained for Bunyoro?
Yeah. So it's a small percentage.
They are not saying what I'm saying. I'm saying elites and intellectuals.
hati ekyo tujakirekerako butugambire oiro topic ya oiro eno eri big kandi inamu a lot of talking hati
Kandi nkugambire.
eh,
Elites normally have agents in every community. Ababaliza. Kandi asobora kwebaliza akozesa wawe nuwabaze.
ayego
Akozesa wa hatu umuntu wabana aenda akora kintu kibi ajja kutuma rundi kangamendi president. Ndi president ndi mu Sudan nja kutuma kianda nuwaba bonese kianda wa Bunyoro.
hati ekyo turukirugeho
Okiyete
nyowe tikwenda kuba involved mu ba elites
No. You know, nkongambirege you have to have courage and have risk if you are going to change people.
nyina courage
Yes.
otherwise yakuba ile tani otherwise
Yeah.
Munyoro birije nyowe nyina courage ujakuba entali ha inta courage tinyakuba ile hanu ni presenting a voice of Bunyoro yakuba ile neserekere but the fact remains I am out presenting this show so I'm kind of having a little courage yonsi mawatenyi
Nkusime, I'm very proud of you.
kale wewale
Nayo
kusimateni
kakimanyire.
hati aroho n'abaliza ono John Paul JP Tumuine agambire baitu we can equally support each other in business. That's how it begins.
Yes. That's
Ekyo
true.
kintu kiamani munekyo kiaddress.
Kingambirege obuti wokayihawo kamu kachweka. Buli hamu. That's why I'm saying collectively we can succeed as a community because politics means community. Civic means public community. Betu kwegondeza omuomu tujja kuchweka.
Hati atenyi mama wange mama Zara na wakagwiza hano akwenda kumanya bya oil akwenda omuhara wagenda asome oil is it possible to carry out research of how many Banyoro have been trained and qualified in oil and gas plus how many have on or no jobs in that industry?
Ati kirikiti. Oh kirikiti. Abajungu abajungu no balemere Uganda.
Ego.
UK is I think the 6th strongest economy in the world.
Yes.
And it's a powerful country, developed country.
Yes.
Uganda niyo mu Africa mazire hai miaka 5 ne leading speaking English. The best speaking country, English speaking country in Africa was Uganda for quite some time. Okuor tulibagayiga nkabaju.
Nangu.
Ntabo kwa tukasoma rujungu tubaza kurungo rujungu.
Nangu.
Why?
Timanyire.
Disorganization
Ye kutulemesa. Hati just last question turuge air kwikani nibigenda nanka Tom was talking about land grabbing and he expressed his concern and said unfortunately land grabbing is real in Uganda and in Bunyoro and their family was in court. Unfortunately they lost.
So I'm asking, are there no courts? Are there
He
no
lost.
police? Is there no police?
They
Is
lost
there-
the case.
Is the kingdom not there? Is the government not there? Why grab? Why is there savage culture when we have institutions of law and order? Are you seeing that? Yes. Okay, again. Why are we just lamenting as if we don't pay tax? Abwaki bitaroho ebintu ebyo inyuma myaka inyuma.
Anyway, Tomu, sorry for the loss, losing the case. Munyoro birija agambire bintu ebyo tibyabahoga enyuma ho tukaba twina policies that are working, going on well, and institutions that are helping people in Bunyoro, and that's why he's talking about the Bunyoro we want. What I have got from this talk mainly, I have got to learn the civic entrepreneurship, business entrepreneurship, and
Entrepreneurship. And
so,
of course having courage.
And having
using
courage.
our culture, giving the right interpretation of culture.
Once we have those 3 or 4 things in Bunyoro, we will have the Bunyoro we want. And with that brief discussion today, I just want to say, unless you have anything you want to say in 5 minutes.
I want just to thank
Yes.
the listeners. Nkwenda kubasime nywena batulirize. Nkwenda kubaterera kubagamba turuge mu butamanya illiteracy. nogenda mu isomero n'olugayo oli illiterate. Let us interpret words properly. What is culture? What does a cultural kingdom mean? What is entrepreneurship? What is politics? Ebintu ebyo tubyetegereze. United, we stand. Divided, we fall. United, we defend ourselves. Divided, they will break us. Na amagita gamukwehaisaniza nago gajja kumalira galiga abantu bandi. Esitezo zimukwehaisaniza nazo bajja kumalira babasindikire mu byaro no bazikayiremo aba entrepreneur, the grabbers.
Nibye byomnyoro birija concluding na summary na tugambira bikibe twinda akora. Divided we shall fall if we are divided, but if we are united we shall work together and be able to move forward. Abanyoro tukwatagane tube kitole kimu sobole kurwanisa abanyanzigwa bakututwara hitaka lyaitu kandi naba entrepreneur baitu abakwija tukole nabo naitwe tube courageous, tube able to fight for Bunyoro and be to make the Bunyoro we want.
So we bali muno hostinga engineer we bali muno chairman we bali muno BKDNC imire nabauliza baitu bona mbasimire ntaine nkango ebinsobeze munganyire ebi mutetegereze mba Facebook ready kuhuliriza buli muntu ekere message. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We are going off air, and this is Eiraka lya Bunyoro in the diaspora, brought to you by BKD, Bunyoro Kitara Development Association here in the UK. Mutebwa convention ya US eriyo ebiro byokwezi omwaka gukwija kuruga ebiro byokwezi bibiri mpaka ebiro byokwezi bina. Please join them. Join us to do this Bunyoro we want across the globe. Ninyowe Caroline Ajuna Kibuka atenyi presenter nitwijja kubantu garuka next week the same time. With another topic. Maybe this time we might bring religion, who knows, but mukama abena inywe and have a good week ahead of you, and thank you for tuning in. Bye.
Mwebale muno kuhuliriza Eiraka lya Bunyoro kuruga mu diaspora on TGM Radio. Until next time, mwikale kurungi.
Kabanta manyire Bunyoro naitwe tulimanyibwa kuruka kabalega yafwire Bunyoro mazima kotwayibwa baitu hati oil city efokere oil city buli muntu wena agonza ploti mu oil city. Bunyoro, Bunyoro, Bunyoro,